Today I'm going to be talking about missed appointments. So it's important to understand there's three different types of missed appointments. And the solutions are different for each one. So you can't just, uh, when somebody says, "Oh, I got a lot of missed appointments. How do I fix it?" Well, let's dive into it because they're completely different. The causes and how to fix them. Okay, so number one is restorative. So on your side of the schedule, you get cancellations. Now they're going to happen, but shouldn't happen very often. So restoratively, maybe one a week, that type of thing, depending on how much dentistry you're cranking through there. It should be pretty rare, and it should be pretty easy to fill back in. You shouldn't really see a lot of openings on your side of the schedule with cancellations. The next one is new patient cancellations. So if you're not doing a lot of marketing, meaning most of the patients are generated internally, this should be next to zero, right? You shouldn't have very many last minute cancellations. But if you're doing marketing and 50%, 60% of your new patient base is coming through marketing, you're going to see this number climb up somewhere around 10%. So you want to keep an eye on that and make sure you're under that 10% mark. The last one is missed appointments and hygiene. Okay. Uh, this one's the most difficult to handle. I'll go into detail on all three of these on how to handle them, but this one you want to have at around 5% or less in terms of cancellations, um, last minute cancellations. Okay. You're going to get cancellations leading up to it, 3 or 4 days before. But in terms of the day of or 24 hours in advance, where it's really difficult to fill, you should have about 5%. So if you have 20 hygiene visits in a day, that would be one a day, right? If you have two columns of hygiene, you should have roughly one or none a day, somewhere in that neighborhood. So it should stay relatively full. There are certain areas where the population are a little flakier than normal, and so there are differerences, let's put it that way, between area to area. And so this is not a hard and fast rule, but I would say for vast majority of you in rural areas, in a little bit middle class and above, you're going to see that this number, 5%, should hold true. We start to see this number climb when we get into areas that uh, financially are a little bit lower uh, on the scale. So that's typically what we see. So that being said, let's dive into each one and how we can fix them. So restoratively on the doctor's side. Like I said, this is rare. Most of you don't have this problem, and usually it stems from pushing people too far out, meaning you're pretty booked, and to get those fillings done or to get something done, it's 3 or 4 weeks from now. So that will that right there is your cause. Okay. So how do you fix it? You can get deposits, things like that. That definitely can help. Uh, you can make sure that the patient uh, reconfirms the visit 7 days in advance, where somebody actually calls and talks to them. That's the most important thing. If you're having an issue here, where you are putting people out and you have no choice, obviously, because you're full, uh, you want to have verbal confirmations before their appointment. You don't want to go with the automated system. So you have to make sure you touch base with this person and try to get a deposit. Okay. If you're having missed appointments, but you're not that far out, you're booking people out a week, that kind of thing, then you've got to look to, are people having buyer's remorse? Okay. Are we pushing a little too hard with our case presentation and treatment coordination? That's the other factor. So those are the two things. Missed appointments on the restorative side. Those are the root causes. And pretty straightforward how to fix it. The next is new patients no show. Okay, so there's two causes for new patient no-shows. Number one is you're booking them out too far. So you got to get your new patients in within 3 business days or less. So you want to keep track of this. So it's a helpful thing for you to do is to go through and look at the new patients you're going to see today and tomorrow and see when they called and made the appointment. Pay attention to that every so often. And the vast majority, 90%, should have called within the last 3 days and got on your schedule. Okay. If you're pushing them out a week, 10 days, that kind of thing, you're going to see no shows ramp up naturally. Okay. And that's going to be obviously that's a difficult thing to fix um, if you can't get them in quick. Okay. So possible solutions is blocking the schedule for new patients, meaning hold the appointments in anticipation that you're going to get X amount of new patients for the month. So it would look something like this. Let's say on average you get around 30 new patients a month. Okay. And your new patients, you allow them to get cleanings that first visit, which is, I say the vast majority of you guys do that. So you'd want to hold off blocks so that those appointments, so that they can get in on the hygiene side, right? So you get 30 new patients, roughly about about 30% are going to be limiteds. So about 10 of them are going to be limiteds. This is very normal in dentistry. About a third are limiteds, okay? And then 20 would be actually going through hygiene. And so you would block off in hygiene 20 appointment slots. Okay. Now, the key here is to block off the good times of the day. So, the first appointments in the morning is typically what you want to have about 70% of your blocks be first thing in the morning. And you want to have a few in the later afternoon, which is fine, but really the split should be, 70-30. So for every 10 appointment blocks you put in, 70% should be that first appointment in the morning. Now there's a reason for that in same day service. Uh, so you have an opportunity, obviously, to convert and do same day service. So definitely that's a solution. Create blocks, okay? Do not put new patients out too far. A couple things will happen to you. One is you get missed appointments. Number two, you will have people not schedule. They'll say, "Oh, when can I get in? Oh, it's going to be 10 days." And they'll say to your staff, "Let me call you back." And they're shopping, they're looking for a place to get them in quicker. So you're going to see that you're losing actually new patients that don't even get on your schedule if you can't get them in quick. So look at blocking. That's the most effective thing you can do. The other thing you can do is make sure that you do a bump call, meaning within a day or two after you call them, have your team call them, and get a hold of them to tell them about the paperwork or wanted to make sure you got your forms or that you filled out this, some kind of excuse to get them back on the phone to reconnect with the practice. So you want to do a bump call. And this is not a confirmation, that's separate, okay? This is a bump call and have an excuse of why you're calling them. Make sure that you got your paperwork and everything, all your questions were answered, okay? So a bump call. So you putting patients out 7, 10 days, it requires a bump call, and then it also requires a confirmation, okay? Now, how bad this issue is, meaning if you're above 10% and you've done these things that I'm talking about, and you still are putting people out 10 days, right? And the bump call is not working, you have to turn off the automated system in terms of text going out and do confirmations verbally and let the patient know as they're booking the appointment that I got you down for next Wednesday at 8 o'clock. I will be calling you. I need a verbal confirmation before the appointment. I'll call you 3 days before, 2 days before, and get that. But I'll need you to call me back and just let me know that you can make it. Okay. So you want to let the patient know preemptively that you're going to be doing this. Okay. Now that's ramping it up. This would be in areas where the patient base is a little bit more flaky, where you would want to implement this. Okay. So these kind of things make a difference. So each new patient, no matter where you're at in the country, is worth around $1,000 that first visit. So having an extra three or four or five new patients show up in the month, you just do the math, it's worth $5,000. And it's if you're if you're fixing this issue, it's virtually all net, meaning all the building cost, all the staff costs, everything's paid for. It's just labs and supplies. So the net of getting this 5%, this 5,000 increase, it's $4,000 of net. It's $50,000 a year. It's a big deal. So this one I would take very seriously to fix and to monitor. So you should be looking every day, every morning, look at the new patients to see when they're booked, when they get booked. Okay, and just make sure you're not running behind and booking people out too far. Okay, and then watch the no-shows. Okay, get that as low as possible. Okay. The last one is hygiene. So this one is the toughest one to fix. And it starts with making the appointment. And we definitely want the hygienist to make the appointment. Statistically speaking, they're much more likely to show up if the hygienist makes the appointment, and that's because of the relationship, right? But the hygienist can do something during that while they're making an appointment using a script saying, okay, Wes, I got you down for Wednesday, at 8 o'clock. Hey, before I let you go, let me explain to you our confirmation system, how it works. So it's a great opportunity for them to explain. You're going to get a text 7 days before. You're going to get one 4 days before. If you don't respond and confirm, we're going to call you, right? And it's important that if you confirm this appointment that you make it, because if not, it leaves the block open for an hour, and I literally have nothing to do. You'd be doing me a big favor. That just if you confirm it, uh, try to make the appointment, and if you can't, please give us 48-hour notice, right? So if you teach them with every patient to just cover the confirmation system, and that's a nice segue into creating urgency around making this appointment. Okay, so if all the hygienists will do this, you'll slowly see this get fixed over time. Obviously, 6 months from now. Okay, the so definitely I would implement that. Okay, if you're having trouble, you want to look at your system itself. When are the confirmations going out? So most of the time, the one of the root problems is you can confirm the appointment 2 weeks before the appointment through the automated text. That's kind of the default setting, and it's too far away from the appointment. So if I look at an appointment that's 2 weeks from now, I might confirm because I really don't know what I'm going to be doing 2 weeks from now. I'd have to pull my calendar up and, so you want to switch that to where they confirm a week before. Okay. People generally know what's going to be happening the next week. So don't allow them to confirm 2 weeks before. So change the system so it's 1 week before. Okay. And you've got to train your team, the people that did not respond diligently. So 1 week before, the next day you got to be calling these people. These are the people that are the highest risk to no show. And they've got to be all over these people, calling, calling, calling. And usually what we want to do is give them a couple days of phone calls and personalized text from the office, not a random text. So the system allows for a more personalized text. So they should be sending personalized text as well. Say, and the last couple days before the appointment, you want to let them know, hey, we need to hear from you. If this is really bad and you really want to get it fixed, you want to let them know that we're gonna release this appointment if we don't hear from you, and you want to send it through text and through obviously you're probably leaving messages over the phone. You're not talking to them, and that we need to hear from you by end of business day, or else we're gonna have to release this appointment. Okay, that's ultra aggressive, but it works. But if you start with training the patient, changing the way the confirmations go out, meaning it happens 7 days, not 2 weeks before, and you get your team calling those people right away, and that'll fix majority of your issues. But if they're calling these people and calling them and they're not calling you back, I would suggest moving those patients off the schedule and try to fill it with somebody else. Okay. The other thing and like I said, that can rub people the wrong way sometimes because you might have two people show up, and depending on your hygiene team, you might know that that's okay. We'll deal with it. We'll figure it out. But some of you know your hygiene team's a little bit tougher to deal with. So in that case, you would want to go back through, educate the patient base that, hey, if we don't hear from you, the appointment gets released 2 days before, so that 6 months from now you can start doing it and everybody's been educated. So those are the ways to fix these issues. And the statistics I gave you is roughly what you should expect. And and this all needs to be monitored religiously because it does slip. Okay, you can get this fixed and then it kind of drifts back. So these are the ways to fix them. And with the new patient one, this is the one to take ultra seriously. The hygiene one, each hygiene visit is worth around about half of that, $400 or $500, if you include the hygiene time and the restorative dentistry that drips out of hygiene. So it's also very valuable to fix. So take these things super serious, and I would focus on one at a time. So start with if you've got kind of these issues running through your practice, the easy one is the doctor one. Most of you don't have that issue, so I would focus on the new patient one, and then go into the hygiene one, and really get it fixed. Okay, thank you. Thanks for joining me.